Okay, hello sugar buns. Welcome back to our. Well, I mean, I'm probably a month late. Anyway, season 25 Survivor tier list. Until tier list will be coming out tomorrow. And then first and foremost, let's look for our lucky guy. Lucky guy will be a part of the fairy dust tier list. In a nutshell, bench warming. Now, why am I saying Lucky Guy is a part of the bench warming community? I think we all know Lucky Guy requires a little bit too much RNG. Let's say it this way, he requires a little bit too much RNG, a little bit too much luck. In the cases of like, let's just assume that, hey, why Lucky Guy can't be Heartstock champion? Well, simply if there is a Lucky Guy on your team comp and there is area selection mode, your hunter is most likely going to be a single chase hunter, and it's going to be a high mobility single chase hunter such as Geisha, BQ, Dreamwitch and Axeboy. These type of hunters are currently now meta. You need to understand, these type of hunters are currently now meta, including Evil Reptilian. Now what's the problem with Lucky Guy? The problem with Lucky Guy is A, he relies too much on luck, B, for area selection mode, by a hypothetical situation in which you spawn very closely towards the hunter, in which that's highly likely to occur. Why? Because you always want to spawn near chests. And then the hunter knows you're playing Lucky Guy, the hunter knows that you want to spawn near chest, so what does the hunter do? They'll also spawn near chest. Therefore, even if you have like your lucky parcel, what are the odds of you getting a needle? And not a gun or a pocket watch that you actually wanted to continue with. It happens. The lucky parcel is not a 100% rate, it's like a 50-50. Let's be honest with ourselves, it's like a 50-50. So for Lucky Guy, there's no way he can be a Heartstock champion. Now, is he team cons dependable? Yes, but there are just better options out there. If you want to run someone with a gun, run Cordy. If you want to run someone with a perfume, run Perfumer. If you want to run someone that's like mech, run mech, right? And I also want to emphasize this because there has been false information spread. Mechanic stall originally decoded at 110%. Now it's reduced to 10%, which means that it decodes at 100% rate as a normal survivor would. Lucky Guy, on the other hand, never had that 110% decoding. On the mech stall, it was only mech who had that. So even if Lucky Guy gets a doll, the Lucky Guy's doll will only decode at 100% rate as well. But it has been halved. Lucky Guy is like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. He gets one perfume, one pocket watch, one of XYZ item. Maybe you can get two football, two elbow pads, but also be fairly honest, when you get those, the football will be halved, and then the elbow pads you kind of need to look for 2 chests for an elbow pad, and Lucky Guy doesn't really need elbow pad all the time. He's not your guarantee rescuer. In our current day meta, in which high chase mobility is the meta, hunters, geisha, lizard, BQ, and let's be fully honest with ourselves, they are honestly the current day meta now, in which harassers has been nerfed quite a bit. Lucky Guy is still going to be a part of the fairy dust tier. So yeah, there really are just better options out there for Lucky Guy. He relies a little bit too much on luck, and for area selection mode, if the hunter spawns near him, I don't think it can contain for any longer than like 60 seconds. Well, I don't think it can contain any longer than like 40 seconds, right? Even if you do manage to contain 60 seconds, you cannot rebound Kai. And there's a huge chance for like errors to occur as well. So Lucky Guy is kind of just not worth it, in my opinion, unless like you're really good at solo kiting and then like you don't mind relying on luck sometimes. So yeah, that's that for Lucky Guy. Moving on, we will have Doctor. For Doctor, I want to say she's a part of the fairy dust team comps as well. But because of current day meta, it's really less of a chip hunter meta, but more of a solo containment meta. I feel like for Doctor, if she brings the right personas, if she takes a hit, take a window speed boost, and then like go somewhere far away behind a pallet to heal, I feel like she can contain for 60 seconds or 70 seconds maximum. But also at the same time, if Doctor doesn't get first chase, Doctor can come and act as a body blocker, right? To tank one hit, get healed, and then come back to tank the hits again. For Doctor, for myself personally, I have seen co-op Doctors, we've only seen one of them, but when they're first chased, they obviously can contain because they're all pro players. But let's be fully honest with ourselves, this is currently rank. You don't know what type of hunter is going to come out, you don't know where you're going to spawn. This is a rank tier list, so for Doctor, I would say if you're in a 4-man team, you can definitely run Doctor. Maybe she's better than Fairy Dust, but I still do think that she's a part of the worst, one of the worst characters community, just because there are better options out there like a Priestess or a Barmaid. But for Doctor, of course, let's just be a little bit nicer this time and say she's a little bit team comp dependent. Against chip hunters, she's screwed, but against single hit hunters, I think there is room for containments. There is room for, you know, strategies to come upon if you're going to play Doctor, which is why Doctor will be a part of the team comp dependent community. Also, the fact that if Doctor does get a chip, you know, against chip hunters, she does gain that 25% movement speed boost for, no, 50% movement speed boost for 2 seconds, if I'm not wrong. That also is quite good for a chip, allows you to pull more distance against chip hunters and contain for a little bit longer. But overall, if you're not in a team, don't play Doctor. If you are in a team, and you have 4-man VC, do. Why not? Have some fun. Have some fun with yourself. Now, moving on, we will have Lawyer. Lawyer, I will put Lawyer a part of the Heartstuck champion community. From last season, we talked about him being team comp dependent, but simply because of the fact that Lawyer isn't really too afraid of getting terror shocked. He may not have items, he may only have a map to look at where the hunter is, and also because you know of current day meta with high chase hunters, etc, etc, if you're in area selection mode, hunter know where you'll spawn compared to, you know, like if you're in a, let's say if you're in a tier 6, tier 5 griffin, unicorn, there's no area selection mode, you can see where the hunter is, you can rotate away from where the hunter comes from, which makes your life easier. You can hide easier, and if the hunter wants to find you, they need to take time to find you. But with Lawyer overall, he is still more a part of the Heartstuck champion tier. Why, may you ask? Well, honestly, it's really just the area selection mode that hurts the most for Lawyer. That's my simple opinion. If you have watched, let's just say if you have watched 02 ZT, the team ZT from Kowa, they have played a lot of Lawyers. You're not them. This is rank. You're not them. You don't know who the hunter is. You're not them. You're not them. You don't know where who the hunter is. You don't know how they will storm. You're not them. Don't use Kowa. Kowa is not the same as rank. Let's put our common ground here. Kowa is not the same as rank, right? We're not professional players, and I'm just saying, right? He's a part of Heartstuck champion. You never know what type of hunter you'll get. If it's area selection mode, you're definitely going to be first chase. And can you contain for long? Probably not, but at least you can tank a terror shock, you can force vault a window and pull a long distances away, because you also have veteran as well, which gives you another 20% movement speed boost for 3 seconds. Therefore, Lawyer is part of Heartstuck champion. If you're above champion and you're playing Lawyer and you get to like a very high star, good for you. For the rest of us, probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. Moving on, we'll be having Thief. Thief will also be a part of the niche tier. Now, why will Thief be a part of the niche tier? In our current day meta, I know Thief counters chip hunters quite a bit, but he also does counter fast chase hunters quite a bit. You know, the likes of Geisha, the likes of Axeboy, the likes of BQ, the likes of Soul Weaver, the likes of quite a lot of them, to be honest, because Thief is very similar to Orpheus, but when the hunter turns their back on the Novelist, they can't get a book. Compared to Thief, it only takes 1 second to silence the hunter and then 2 seconds to blind them, right? When the hunter is silenced, the hunter cannot turn their backs using their skills. Therefore, it simply means that they actually need to look at Thief, and then Thief will have 2 seconds to blind them before the hit lands on them. Now, you may say, hey, the hunter can just, use the skills, turn their back on towards the Thief, and then with the 2 second window after silence has been opened, the hunter can charge attack, look back, and then hit the Thief. Well, let me tell you this, not possible. Not possible for like 90% of the hunters. Now, why am I saying this? Thief's flashlight range is actually really darn long. It's actually really darn long. If you use your flashlight a little bit early and then flash on towards the hunter, For the first seconds, they can't look at you. For the next 2 seconds, when they're trying to turn their back on you and then use a charge attack hit, it probably won't land on you. Why, you may ask? Well, a lot of these hunters, which they're able to look back, the charge attack hit actually isn't, like their basic hit and their charge attack hit actually isn't that long. If we're gonna say, hey, woo feaster, then you know what, understandable. Those two have the longest attack hitbox. So you know that's definitely doable. But let's take Naiad for an example. If you're playing Thief against a Naiad, you flash the light at Naiad, Naiad looks back, Naiad then uses charge attack hit, but she also has an impulsive and she tries to hit you. Will the hit land? It's a 50-50. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But that's also because Naiad's charge attack hit is pretty darn long as well. But it's always a 50-50 there for Naiad. Now, if you think about it that way, what about for Feaster? What about for Mary? What about for Anne? What about for a Violinist? What about for Joseph, Mad Eyes, Dreamwitch, Axeboy? Probably the hit is not going to land. And like 90% of the time, the hit just isn't going to land. So what happens after you do a charge attack hit? You're going to have an attack recovery animation which is around a second longer than a normal attack hit. And what does that mean? That simply means you have more time to transition somewhere else. You can turn off your flashlight, you can try vault something, take a speed boost and go. And even if they do try charge attack hit you, you have flywheel. You flywheel and then you immediately put your flashlight up again. And will they manage to hit you again? Impulsive is on cooldown. They also probably, during the attack animation recovery, you probably already silenced them. They're not, and then they need to walk for 2 seconds to catch up to you, in which they're not able to do so. Which is why Thief with Flywheel is actually pretty darn strong. And I'm gonna put him on niche as well. Thief for rebound kite potential is also strong as well. Why, you may ask? If there's a survivor on chair, the main rescuer comes to rescue, and then you as Thief, you stand behind the one who's on chair and then flashes the light. What does this mean? A, BQ can't mirror. B, Geisha can't dash. C, Sculptor, Bonbon can't throw their bombs, can use their abilities. D, Ripper also have a hard time but not as hard. E, Gamekeeper can try hook you, but then like he'll only hook you and not hook the Novelist. What does this mean? This simply means whoever was on chair can rotate even further away. Which is why like Thief, he may not stun, but his silence and his mini stun with the flashlight is actually pretty darn good. Which is why Thief is part of the niche tier. Moving on, we will have Gardener. Gardener will also be a part of the team comp dependence tier, but a little bit higher than Doctor. Now, why Doctor, you may ask? Reason number one, simply because of the fact that when there's a Gardener on the field, you have 50-second bubble early game. That simply means you can, if you're first chase, you can tank 3 hits early game, which means you can guarantee a 60-second kite. No problem, you can definitely get blink out. Unless maybe you're against a chip hunter, then that's a little bit harder. 2, with Gardener as well, you can turn on and off the bubble. Simply that means that you can charge 3-second bubble and then you give the hunter a hit, and then the next time the hunter comes to you, you only need to stand for 1 second and then the bubble will come up. Now you may say, hey, why am I going to give the hunter a free hit? Well, that's simply because of the fact that you know you're not able to transition anywhere, so you'll just stand still, get your 3-second bubble up, and then once you get hit, turn off the bubble. Right, turn off the bubble, and the next time you think that you're about to get hit immediately, turn on the bubble, stand still for 1 second, join the hunter attack animation. It does take them 1 second before the attack actually comes out, so you have more than enough time for the bubbles to come out and tank that hit. Gardener is not a bad container overall, but maybe against Bonbon she can't contain against a Bonbon. Against a Sculptor, depends on her own movement, but also she's a part of the team comp dependent tier is simply because of the fact that if someone's on chair, Tide comes out, and then if your fellow teammate downs near a very dead corner, you as Gardener, you have A bubble and you have B, you can disarm the chair. Right, being able to disarm the chair helps your survivor out a lot when it comes to balloon rescuing, when it comes to circle out of balloon. But of course, this only is applicable for a 4-man team. For the team comp, it's really team comp dependent, but it's still doable. She's not really that very dusty. She's not really that much of a bench warmer, but still, you know, very doable. Which is why I think Gardener is a part of the team comp dependent / 4-man team community. Moving on, we will have Magician. Magician will just be a part of the niche community as well, but I'll just I'll put him a little bit lower than Thief. Now, why am I putting him lower than Thief? It's because when you play Magician and you want out in the open, there's more of a chance for you to get a hit when you're invisible. And that definitely does happen. For Magician overall, you want to run Flywheel alongside with your wands, so then like after you use a wand and the wand goes into a 10-second cooldown, at least you still have Flywheel. So then you know yourself, okay, I can use Flywheel and then my wand will be up, so I can use wand again and still maintain full health, let's say, right? But then for Magician overall, the places where the wands are very effective really is just between palettes. Let's just be fully honest with ourselves. Anywhere narrow, and that's between palettes, in which the moment you put down the wand, the hunter either has to hit the illusion, or have to walk the other way, or get stuck within the illusion and they force it to hit the illusion away. That's one of the areas in which, you know, Thief can use the wand no problem to not guarantee that normal hit, but overall in open areas not that good. But having 3 items is still very good for a survivor to contain for quite a bit of time. When you have wand as well, and when you use the wand, if I'm not wrong, you gain a 50% movement speed buff for 1 second. I say that 50% movement speed buff could do quite a lot. And also for Magician, I guess at the end of the day it's really about mind games for Magician. So it's like saying, am I going to walk straight after I use the wand, or am I going to walk back? There's a lot of mind games there, which means there are still quite a bit of, you know, areas to get a hit when you're invisible. But he's still a part of the niche community, not really a part of the Hearthstone champion community, because, you know, he is still good. It's not like he's bad at all, he is definitely still good. I would argue that he's easier than Perfumer. I would argue that. Now then, moving on towards Explorer. Explorer will also be part of the Hearthstone champion community. Explorer recently just got a new adjustment. Now, if you guys don't know about the adjustment, I'll just give you a quick cliff notes about it, a quick, you know, recap about it. For Magician now, he can dig 3 treasures. First dig is 27 seconds, second dig is 24 seconds, and the third dig is 20 seconds. Now, when Explorer digs for treasure, he doesn't have to get the full 100% digging to get his 50%. He just needs to, you know, like let's say if he digs for 10 seconds, he gets like 20%. Oh no, he gets like 50%. He gets like 20% of the 20% of the 50% of the pages, right? Which I think that is honestly speaking a great adjustment, because on a hypothetical situation in which you're missing 40%, in which we're missing 40% decoding for the last cipher, and then you're digging up a page, you don't need to dig up the full 50% page. You only need to dig up that 40% page and immediately pop the cipher. I think that's a great adjustment overall. I genuinely think that's honestly one of the best adjustments overall. But he will still be a part of the Hearthstone champion, because, you know, I think Nayid will be one of the hunters that counters him the most. Nayid. Like, if there's an explorer on the field and you run Nayid, all Nayid has to do is to make a huge abyss near where you spawn, and then what can you do? Nothing much, nothing less. But there's also the fact that with Hunter's Instinct, even if you hide well, even if you do manage to hide well, with Hunter's Instincts they're able to find out where you are, right? Especially when there's area selection mode as well. So unless you actually manage to safely, unless you actually manage to safely crawl away or hide away, there's also the fact that what if your pages are near survivors that are hiding in that area? Can you get the page? Most likely not. Most likely not, because you're going to get found by the hunter. When you're digging for pages, there's a small light that comes up, and it's very seeable, it's very viewable. As a hunter main who is blind, if I can see it, anyone can see it. So for Explorer, I would say he's still a part of the Hearthstone champion, but better than before. Definitely better than before. Now then, moving on, we'll have Mercenary. Mercenary will be forever annoying, you know, just a guarantee rescuer. 3 level pass to contain for at least 60 seconds, and he also has a mini tie time with 15 seconds every time he tanks a hit, which in total is 30 seconds. Mercenary being able to utilize elbow pass to, you know, close the distance between himself and the survivor who is chaired relatively fast, being able to immediately get close towards a chair without the hunter being able to, you know, get an early hit on him and then fail rescue. And even if Mercy gets a terror shock, it's not like he can't rescue. He'll just have his 30-second mini tie time and still be able to pull off the rescue, which is why Mercenary is such a good character. But of course, he's always being a part of the meta as of now. I don't think anyone can disagree. I genuinely don't think anyone can disagree with that. But yeah, Mercy, 3 elbow pass, the 30-second mini tie time in total of the 2 hits, being able to close distance between himself and the chair and himself and the hunter, and being able to have such a great containment ability. Honestly speaking, still a part of the forever meta. Next will be Coordinator. For Cordy in general, I will pull Cordy a part of Hearthstone Champion, to be fully honest with you. Now you may ask, why is Cordy Hearthstone Champion? She has a gun, doesn't she? Well, yeah, she has a gun, but I feel like excitement would just counter her too much. Because by the off, like, let's be fully honest with ourselves, right? A lot of hunters, what they do is they see Cordy, they bring excitement. With area selection mode, they chase Cordy first. And you may say, hey, let's be fully honest with ourselves. Hey, even if Cordy gets chased first, at least she stays on chair for longer though. Yes, that is definitely true, but you definitely need someone to come closer towards the chair to give tinnitus and to sell, right? Which also is a bit of a problem there. And then you may say, hey, what if Cordy gets chased first, but then she used the gun very early onto the game? Then what I will just say is, that is Cordy's fault. If you use a gun way too early on into the game, and then you have no items left to contain, I always say that's not that much of a good look for you, especially in this day scenario in which like fast chase hunters are the meta. Geisha, BQ, Spider, Soul Weaver, Ripper, like a lot of them are really just fast chase. Let's be fully honest with ourselves, a lot of them really are just fast chase. So for you to use your item that fast, it's not that much of a great look. And like, even if they do use their items that fast, like the hunter can always change targets, right? Because now you know, okay, there's this Cordy with no items. I can chase after someone else now, so because I don't need to worry about the gun anymore. Or they will just still chase after you. Whether that's A, because they want to chase after you, or B, because, you know, just because you have no item left, it's a little bit easier to chase after you. For Cordy, if you gamble wrong as well, you'll be like, oh, hunter's gonna chase me first. I'm gonna use my gun a little bit early on, so then there's no excitement on. But what if the hunter has blink? Cause maybe sometimes it's really just the mind games. What if the hunter has blink and not get excitement and you use your gun too early? Oh, what if the hunter actually has excitement instead and not blink and then you use your gun too late? Here's a problem with that. There's a small problem there with that, especially when Cordy needs to bring tide as well as a rescuer. You may say Cordy doesn't need to bring tide, Cordy can bring windows or flywheel, in which I respond, yes she can, but this is ranked, not a pro team. This is not a IVL, COA, IVT, IJL, Southeast Asia stuff, pro teams going on. This is rank, so Cordy I think still will be a part of the Hearthstone Champion tier. And of course, there are better options out there compared to Cordy. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. Moving on, we will be having Priestess. Priestess, I will put Priestess behind Merc. I know, I'll just put Priestess behind Merc, just because Merc is OP. Priestess will still be a part of Forever Annoying, even after her Portal stun nerf. I don't think it's really gonna matter much. It's like a 10% reduction on the stun time, but also if we take into account that Priestess just doesn't rely on the stun to allow her survivors to contain a little bit longer, it doesn't really matter. And let's be fully honest with ourselves, I don't even think Priestess needs to bring tide. I genuinely don't think Priestess needs to bring tide. You can't have First Officer bring tide. First Officer is just a better rescuer overall. But like with Priestess, right, being able to transition herself from one area to another immediately, and then utilizing the windows or the pallets or using flywheel, she's still just very strong. Being able to aid teammates, being able to heal teammates from far away with Long Portal, being able to utilize Long Portal to maybe rebound kite your teammate, being able to use the normal portals to rebound kite as well, and being able to use normal portals for contain for quite a bit of time. Priestess is just annoying. Let's be fully honest with ourselves, she is just annoying. She really is just annoying. She's very strong as well, and we also cannot deny that. Is there many counters to her? Not really. I would argue Dream Witch. But like aside from that, not really what I would say. Because like even if you want to say, hey, fast chase hunters counters Priestess, well, well, yeah, but also at the same time it's kind of like saying no, because Priestess has 2 portals early game. It's very similar to a Magician, but her portals can forever regen. And like, her portal just allows her to contain for so long. It's a bit annoying, to be honest with ourselves right there. But yeah, also the healing buff as well from Priestess, I think that's really a really nice bonus. And like, she may vault 10% slower compared to other survivors. This is muscle memory. I don't think it's gonna matter much. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. Muscle memory has saved so many survivors from getting like over the window hits, terror shock window hits. We just cannot deny that. We just cannot deny that. So yeah, Priestess will be a part of Forever Annoying. Moving on, we will have Mechanic. Mechanic will be a part of Niche now. Why am I putting Mechanic a part of Niche now? I think Mech actually went down a little bit after the doll decodes a little bit. After the doll decodes at a normal survivor speed. Now, why am I saying this? Well, back then when Mech's doll decoded at 110% rate, the doll can decode 1 cipher and an extra 75% cipher. Right, the doll can do that. Now, the doll can only, I think the doll can only decode 1 cipher and then an extra 25% cipher. I think that's about as much as what the doll can do. A 50% difference is quite a bit. A 50% difference is quite a bit. Right? With the doll decoding debuff, you may say, hey, it's 10%. 10% is still quite a lot. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. If borrow time increased by 1 second, that's gonna change the game a lot. So 10% is you know, it's not little, but it's enough to make Mech niche. Mech herself, she can bring Flywheel, she can bring Muscle Memory to counter her 15% slow vault debuff, but overall being able to decode on chair really just helps her out quite a bit. But she's not a part of the Forever Annoying tier anymore, simply because of the fact that if Mech is actually first chase and she hides her doll well, even if she can't decode on chair, the maximum cipher she can do when decoding on chair is 1. If you have 1 tied or 2 tied, let's say. Honestly speaking, is 1. Why am I saying this? So for the first 30 seconds when Mech is decoding on chair, what will happen is the doll will decode around 40%. And then what will happen is tie time will come out, and during that tie time the Mech will try to rebound kite a little bit, but then like if she can't rebound kite, she'll just touch the controller again and then start decoding. And then when it starts decoding, they can decode for another 30 seconds on chair. And then let's say they have a second tie, the tie time comes out. Even with the tie time coming out, maximum Mech can do is 1 cipher. Not 1 cipher and an extra little bit more. No. A little bit too scary if she's able to do that. But because of that, I think Mech is honestly speaking niche now. Because like if you think about it right, current day meta High Chase Hunter, if Mech's doll get found early game, she only has 50% doll left. You actually speaking don't need to chase Mech anymore after that. If you get a hit on doll once, just chase someone else, get a hit on them, and then Mech's main body will decode slow, and then there's gonna be a doll out there who decodes like, let's say 70% or 80% of a cipher, giving the benefit of the doubt. What happens here is Mech needs to control the doll and Mech needs to decode herself. Someone has to run towards the other cipher to decode that cipher. But Mech herself, her own cipher is probably only at 50% because she decodes a little bit slower compared to usual. Which is why I'm saying Mech actually isn't as annoying anymore, and especially with the fact that, you know, current day meta, you have the likes of, let's say, you have the likes of Geisha, Woo Woo, BQ, XYZ, XYZ. Because of that 10% doll decoding reduction, it genuinely speaking saved a lot of hunters, or a lot of high chase hunters, middle chase hunters with no map control to from a getting Mech down in 30-second game and it's still being a tie to getting Mech down in 30-second game and like being able to get a win somehow. Because Mech can't rush as hard on chair with the doll now compared to before. So yeah, for me, I don't think Mech is a part of the Forever Annoying tier anymore. I think she's actually okay now, especially with the fact that she actually can't contain long. Because let's be fully honest with ourselves, if a Mech is gonna be able to contain you for 60 seconds, like over after blink is up, and then after blink is up and you were forced to blink hit the Mech first, I think that is your problem. I don't think that is Mech being OP. I think that, genuinely speaking, is your problem. Or you're just having a bad day and you're tilting. So yeah, Mech is going to be a part of the niche tier. But moving on, we will have TME. TME will also be a part of the Hearts of Champion tier. It's very similar to Explorer Lawyer, honestly just very similar, Like you may argue, hey, TME is Strawning Hospital. Well, my guy, current day meta Fast Chase Hunter. I'm just emphasizing on Fast Chase Hunters a lot, I'm very sorry. But like current day meta Fast Chase Hunter against the TME, either you rely a lot on luck, in which you get your palette stuns, or you're somehow a god, or the hunter is bad at chasing against the TME. TME evolves 15% slower if I'm not wrong, but with muscle memory it does help you out quite a bit. TME decodes fast, but usually in a game she'll always become first chase regardless of what happens. To counter TME, bring trump card, bring quenching fist, and teleport. And then teleport to TME, and you're a fast chase hunter, get him down fast. And what can you do? Nothing much, honestly. Can you rebound kite? Nah, you cannot rebound kite at all. Which is why I'm saying, like, for TME, more of the part of Hearts of Champion. Maybe when there's no area selection mode, you're gonna do quite a bit. But like, in area selection mode, you're kind of gone. You can definitely play her in 4-man team to protect her, but also at the same time, harassers has been nerfed quite a bit, which why, like, current day meta, it's really about solo containing overall. But yeah, Hearts of Champion for TME, there's nothing more, nothing less I can say about it. Because like, the moment you strike your king, this hunter knows where you spawn anyway, so it doesn't really matter there. When you fist, teleport, that's all what you need to counter TME, that's all what you need. And moving on, we will be having Perfumer. Perfumer will also be a part of Niche. I'm gonna put Perfumer above Magician. Reason number one, Perfumer is more, how do I say? Perfumer is more stable, is more safe compared to Magician. Because the moment you get Perfumer, you get hit, then you can Perfume back and then go. Compared to Magician, get with a wand out, there's a chance for you to get hit. Perfumer is a little bit harder than Magician, which is why Perfumer is a little bit more stable than Magician, a little bit more safer than Magician. Having a, like, playing Perfumer is like saying, I know how to use Flywheel. Honestly speaking, yeah, I know how to use Flywheel. And even if the hunter is able to bait out your perfume, you should have like enough time to rotate in towards the nearest pallet or window. Let's be fully honest with ourselves, you probably are able to do that. But if you're not able to do that, and you think, oh no, I won't be able to rotate towards somewhere safe, you still have Flywheel. A lot of the perfumers do run Flywheel, just in case something odd happens. Which is why, like, Flywheel is kind of just that backup plan B for perfumer mains overall. If they fail like their second perfume or their, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you fail your third perfume, but like just in case you fail your third perfume and you don't want to, you can Flywheel towards the nearest pallet window. Perfumer's solo containment is strong, but she doesn't have harass, she doesn't have team fight potential. She gets countered by chip hunters, of course, but you know, current day meta is fast chase hunter, so playing Perfumer, honestly speaking, isn't bad. Really isn't bad. Against Reptilian, brilliant. Against Woo Woo, brilliant. Against Geisha, brilliant. Against any single chase hunters, brilliant. Just really good overall for Perfumer, in my opinion. Really good overall for Perfumer, in my opinion, which is why Perfumer will be a part of Niche. But of course, with her debuff, she gets healed a little bit slower. You can kind of back that up with the Persona webs, in which I think there was Iron Will, in which teammates heal you 10%, 15%, 20% faster. It's up to you if you want to bring that or not. But overall, I simply think Perfumer is just Niche. Very solid character overall. Very solid character overall. Next, we'll be having Forward. Forward will also be a part of the Niche community. He's not really forever annoying anymore, which I think is great. Reason number one, mischievous, counters balloon harass quite a bit. Reason number two, Forward now doesn't actually have pallet speed buff anymore, which is why if Forward doesn't run Tide and decides to run Flywheel, he still needs to use quite a bit of ball to, you know, create distance from you. So like, if you're a fast chase hunter and you want to chase Forward, I think it's doable. But I guess for like Geisha, BQ, short attack hitbox hunters overall, because this guy vaults fast AF, it may be a little bit harder for you guys to chase after a Forward. But for everyone else, I think it's not too bad. For For forward, just to pull like enough distance to safely go between pallets, he needs to use at least a quarter of a ball. So like that's a quarter to a third of a ball, let's say. So that's almost a third of an item, which is almost 3 items in total for forward. But of course for forward means in rank they will run tight. I don't think they won't run tight. It's highly unlikely they won't run tight. But for forward overall, because of the fact that he needs to expend his balls a little bit faster, and balloon rescue is kind of a no-no now, forward is less annoying, but still good. Still good. We've seen in Koa how well he does. We cannot put him any lower than niche. I'm going to put him next to mech. So second place on niche. Let's say he's A+ now instead of S. Right? But forward is still very good. I definitely do recommend you run forward. But, you know, harass when you can. Just don't balloon rescue harass. I don't think that's honestly speaking worthy. But honestly, he also decodes slow as well, which does kind of make sense with his strong harass. Because like after Prosy has been nerfed, after Ench has been nerfed, forward will be the next strongest harasser now. Forward will be back on the harasser list with the strongest harasser. But in exchange for that, he doesn't. His balls do get used a little bit much faster, which, you know, is kind of nice. It's not too annoying. It's just annoying once or twice if they do really good balls, but the third, fourth time, nah, they won't have too much balls left, let's be fully honest. Especially with Mischievous as well. You can pick those survivors up fast, and even if the forward stuns you, survivors falling down animation should be more than enough time for you to counter the forward. Should be more than enough time. And if you run insolence, you get pushed back like 20% less. So there's a chance for you when you have someone on balloon, the forward can't even push you back properly. So yeah, forward is a beginning part of niche, not forever annoying now. Moving on, we'll have female dancer. Female dancer is still niche. The female dancer is still niche. Her overall like, so I'll just tell you her adjustment. The slow music box got nerfed, so it nerfed from 15, 20, 25% to 12, 17, 20% I think, so it's only a 5% slow debuff nerf. I think it's not too bad for female dancer. I think it's still very doable. It's just that the hunters can break pallets a little bit faster now, but let's be fully honest with ourselves, she is quite annoying, especially when she's able to stack the music boxes, right? When she's like, if she's not able to stack the music boxes, then you know what, understandable, don't nerf. Do not nerf female dancer. But since she's able to stack the slow music boxes, it's really annoying. It's really annoying. Female dancers counters so many hunters. With fast music box you encounter chip hunters, but also fast slow music box just counters chip hunters overall. But slow music box is the best. It counters every hunter, including geisha. Including like being like attacking slow, moving slow, being able to transition easier, and like you're able to like dance away, just slide away with the dance when they're about to hit you. That's beautiful. That's honestly beautiful. And also very good support. She also, when vaulting, when like jumping down from a 2-story setting, she gains a mini movement speed buff. So in a big map, you can definitely run flywheel instead of knee-jerk reflex. Female dancer is still very good. Do play her a little bit more. I think she does need a bit of love, but you know, she's good. Like let's say in middle, like on factory middle, put 2 music boxes down like 1 minute into the game. That's gonna be hella annoying. That's gonna be hella annoying if you know you're not first chase. That's gonna be hella annoying for the hunter. Still very good. Still very good. Cannot deny. Cannot deny. Moving on, we will have Cowboy. Cowboy. I think Cowboy is honestly niche. I won't lie. I think Cowboy is niche. I think he's quite good. I genuinely speaking think that he's quite good. Can I say he's quite good? Can I say? Okay. Let's think about it. Right, Cowboy. Is he good? He has solo containment, he can balloon harass, but because of Giant Claw it does get countered. He can play in team comp very well, so we can definitely put him on team comp dependence. Hearts of Champion, we can't put him there because he definitely plays well in area selection mode, so the only place left I can think is niche. Cowboy is not forever annoying because there are persona traits to counter it. And let's be fully honest with ourselves, in rank modes overall, right, if Cowboy wants to harass you and you're a fast chase hunter, you go hit him once, you go hit him again, he can't harass anymore. Especially when it's in open area as well. And like for Cowboy, you need to lock onto the survivors for 2 seconds before you can lasso them. So for hunters, that basically just means you pick them up, walk for 1/2 seconds, drop them down, and then until you're closer towards the chair. But of course, you're gonna have to bring Giant Claw for that. Cowboy as well, on the other hand, he can harass, which buys a little bit of time. He can also contain. One lasso create a huge distance between himself and the hunter. It's like saying one lasso Cowboy equals to one butterfly geisha, one dash geisha, right? And the lasso is 10-second cooldown. So it's not too bad overall for Cowboy. Cowboy can also definitely run Tide, or even run Flywheel, or even run Knee-Jerk Reflex. He's he has so much leeway when it comes to personas. So, you know, Cowboy is a part of niche, he can contain. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. If you just spam your lasso to create distance, he can definitely contain for like at least forcing blink out of Hunter. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. And like, even if Cowboy can't rotate towards a nearest pallet / window, he can lasso the Hunter and then like get that movement speed buff after he lassos the Hunter, and then like go towards the nearest pallet / window. Or if he can't, Flywheel. So yeah, Cowboy will be part of niche. I don't think he's part of Hardstock Champion at all. I think his solo containment is pretty darn good. I honestly think that his solo containment is pretty darn good. Moving on, we will have Seer. Seer will be a part of the forever annoying tier. He's still gonna be up there. He honestly speaking still is going to be up there. Why, you may ask? Single hill hunters are our main priority now, and being able to give a global owl to extend the kite for a little bit longer, that's honestly still good. So like, let's say if your survivor teammates get a hit, very early hit into the game, and then they're gonna get hit again, you give an owl, and now what's gonna happen is either the hunter is gonna be forced to use blink to down your survivors, or the survivor can contain a little bit longer for your 3 cipher machines to be done. Seer overall, like, honestly speaking, it doesn't take him long to get an owl. It really doesn't take him long to get an owl if he's first chase. A lot of Seer mains now do run Flywheel to extend, you know, the tie kites, so then he can get owl, use Flywheel, and then get his second owl out, and then keep containing for a little bit longer. Or you might have a really good rebound kite, right? Seer solo containment good, but relies a lot on the player itself. The character is brilliant, but it really depends on the player, on how they move, how they play him, how they tie kite, etc, etc. Global supports are just really good, very similar to Psychologist, but I think just better overall because of the, you can tank an extra hit. Because you can turn a lose game to a tie game, you can turn a tie game to a win game with this character. So honestly speaking, very good. Next up will be Embalmer. I think Embalmer will be Hardstock Champion, but I just higher than everyone else. Why? Because of his self-rescue potential. For Embalmer, Hunter's definitely going to chase him first, but if he's honestly speaking chased first, and he knows that he's going to get chased first, a lot of the Embalmer mains now do run windows on Flywheel just so they can pull very far away from their coffin. Right, they do that so they can pull very far away from their coffin and then force the self-rescue on themselves. But also, with that type of persona, they can definitely contain for at least 60 seconds. So by the time that the Embalmer self-rescues, you'll have at least 3 ciphers done. So that's kind of like a guaranteed tie there for you as when you play Embalmer. But of course, this is heavily reliant on your teammates as well to not be dumb. And I'm shading. I am shading. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. Your teammates aren't going to be dumb. I am your one random in rank. For those of you on PC that has seen me play Survivor, I am that one random. I will shade on myself as well. If you're on PCQ, whoever saw me play Doctor today, what date is it? It's currently the 7th of May. Whoever saw me play Doctor today and I went to rescue against a bonbon and I got the after half rescue, I'm your goddamn random. I'm sorry. But this is I'm a living example. So there are definitely other living examples out there. You know, we're not trying to trash on them. We're shading them. Okay, we're shading them. We probably are trashing them too. But it's just a reality, right? It's just a reality. But Embalmer, I'd say, will still be a part of Hardstock Champion because of every selection mode. Maybe when you're in like tier 6, tier 5, you can definitely play him to, you know, get up the ranks a little bit faster, because tying is always nice. But for tier 7 and above, champion above, I say you're a Hardstock Champion, because like you either win or you either tie well or you either lose. Winning with Embalmer is kind of really hard, especially when you can't contain early game properly. So yeah, Embalmer will be a part of Hardstock Champion. Moving on, we'll have Prospector. Prospector will still be a part of niche, right? And I'll put Prospector just behind Female Dancer. Prospector's nerf in a nutshell was, when he uses one magnet, there's a 6-second cooldown. And I don't know if the second nerf came out or not, but the second nerf was, if there's a survivor 80 meters near Prospector, then the stun time will be reduced by 50%. I don't know if that came out. Wait, let me just double check. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, The Hunter is stunned for 3.47 seconds while ballooning, whereas the stun duration under other circumstances will be increased on the distance the Hunter is moved by repulsion and attraction. And when there are other survivors within 15.2 meters of Prospector, the stun caused by attraction between him and the Hunter will be weakened by 32%. He can still balloon rescue, guys. Woo! Now, how can you balloon rescue when you can't spam? Well, let me tell you this. Throw your magnet out early, let it go on cooldown early, let the Hunter take the magnet, and then during the balloon time stun. Because the stun is a guaranteed 3.47 seconds while ballooning. You can probably see it on the screen right there. It's a 3.47 second. Right? What does this mean? This simply means you can buy enough time for your second magnet to come out and to stun the Hunter, and it's a guaranteed 3.47 seconds unless the Hunter has like Berserker or Rage. But overall, it's still really, like, his balloon rescue is still there. It's definitely speaking still there, right? If you do throw the magnet out a little bit early and you do get the stun on them, you can definitely spam your second magnet out to push the Hunter away from the survivor. When like they're trying to recover from everything, or just stun again. But during the second stun, it will be weakened by 32%, so it probably is just a 1 second stun when you do that. So it's better for you just to push the Hunter out when you throw your second magnet out. So there you go, that's that for Prospector. He can definitely still balloon rescue. That's a 3.47 second guarantee stun there after you balloon rescue, unless the Hunter has Rage or Berserker. But when it comes to survivors being near Prospector, like survivors that are walking, that are not ballooned, that are near Prospector and that are near the Hunter within the 15-meter range, the stun effect will be weakened by 32%. So let's just say that mid-kite harass will be reduced, but balloon rescue is still there for Prospector, and we do know Prospector does do quite a bit of balloon rescuing. Like, not a lot of them do mid-kite harass unless it's for like getting the last cipher done, but still being able to do so is quite a nice thing. What is why I will say is quite a bit of a nice thing. Prospector solo containment is still good. You're not going to spam magnets every like 5 seconds. 6 seconds I think is a good, it's like very good. It's like a good time there for Prospector, because like when you throw the magnet out, it'll immediately go on cooldown, and Hunter needs to catch up to you. And also at the same time, Hunter will get stunned, and by the time that they get stunned, they recover, they chase after you, your second magnet probably will be already ready to come out and go. So Prospector is still good. I refuse to hear anyone say that he's not good. Right? I just read the skill description, I just gave it to you. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. This is one thing I don't want to hear, the rebuttal. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Moving out then, Ench will be a part of the niche community, but just a little bit lower than Cowboy. For Ench overall, I think she's still good. I genuinely speaking think she's still good. You can definitely run flywheel on her. Just you know, a little bit of a strong solo containment. But for Ench herself, having no items early game and having to rely on her solo containment to get items, I think that's a little bit of a, how do I say, there's skills required. There's genuinely speaking solo skill containment required. But also her rebound kite potential is definitely strong as well. So like she can definitely get 3 stacks after she gets hit, and then on chair, and then like uses 3 stacks to rebound kite potential. Or just use 1 stack and then see where she goes from there and keep 1 stacking away. But for Ench, she's still a part of niche. Why? I simply think it's also because of the fact that like for Ench herself, her stack range is quite big, so gaining stacks her range is big, but stunning the range is a bit smaller. But because of that, for Ench, she's like first stack definitely can come out way fast. Definitely can come out fast. And then like for the likes of, you know, single chase hunters, you basically it's 1 stack and then you're able to rotate into the next nearest pallet / window. 1 stack go behind a pallet, another stack go behind a pallet, or 1 stack cancel Geisha's dash, 1 stack cancel Evil Reptilian's crash. Now you may say, hey Kuro, is that actually possible? Yes it is. You just have to spam click it. You generally speaking just have to spam click it, right? When Evil Reptilian jumps up and wants to crash and you spam click it and it'll cancel the crash. It really will. It will. There's no room for error there. It definitely will cancel the crash. Have done it before, and it has occurred a lot in CN server before. But yeah, Ench can definitely just do that. But overall, what I'm going to say is like Ench may not have items early game, and she can definitely give a first hit really early into the game. But because of that, she'll have 2 stacks, and it's just depending on how she uses those 2 stacks to tie kite. Like one stack allows her to rotate towards the next nearest area, and then the next stack should be able to rotate her towards the next nearest pallet / window, unless let's say the hunter brought Berserker or something. But like overall, if the hunter did do that, I feel like Ench still will be able to force out the blink because she'll be freeing flywheel. A lot of Enches do bring flywheel. And after like, you know, doing mini stacks one by one, you probably buy enough time for 50 seconds to get flywheel out, so then you can definitely contain a little bit longer. And also with the fact that like depending on the strategies of Ench, if you want to have a really good, you know, second rebound kite potential, you can just save your 3 stacks and then contain longer. Honestly speaking, contain longer. Your rebound kite potential is strong, similar to Prospector, but I would say Prospector is just stronger than Ench. Because like Prosy has 3 magnets, but for Ench you need to use your triple stacks. So yeah, Ench will be part of the niche community. Moving on, we'll have Wildling. Wildling will be team comp dependent. I'm just not gonna put him on Fairy Dust anymore. You know what? I will put him on Fairy Dust actually. Why is Wildling Fairy Dust? Wildling is Fairy Dust when all the good rescuer has been banned. So let's say if they banned a forward and a first officer, then you can come out with a Wildling. You can definitely come out with a Wildling if you're afraid that it's going to be a chip hunter. Or you can definitely come out with a Wildling. But then again, if you think at the same time, there's Journalist now, so I don't even think Wildling will be coming out anymore. Lol. His decoding is 20% slower. You can force him on board early into the game, or even if you get an early hit on towards Wildling, and if you do chase after Wildling and get an early hit on him, they probably just teleport away from you, honestly. And then you have to waste time to look for a survivor to get healed. And by the time that happens, you probably have a survivor on ground already and needs to be the rescue. For Wildling overall, his rescue, his like closing the distance between himself and the chair is definitely good. But that's the only thing he can do. I don't think he can harass much. I'll be fully honest with you, I don't think he can actually harass much. So for Wildling, he's just a part of the Fairy Dust community. There's nothing more than too much I can say. They're just better options out there. So honestly speaking, just is better options out there. Like his harass may be good on Balloon, like when you're able to manage to push the survivor, the hunter back while the survivor is being ballooned, they gain a 10% struggle speed boost. But like hunters can still bait it out, you know, hunters can definitely still just bait it out or excitement you. So yeah, I don't think Wildling's that much of a great option. There's just better options out there, especially in rank as well. Even if they do ban forward and first officer, you have Gamekeeper, you Gravekeeper. But if you're Seer chip hunters, you can run the likes of Journalist, forward. Who else is there? No, not forward against chip hunters. Journalist. Honestly, just Journalist. You can run Wildling if you want to, but you know, there's Journalists out there. And there's Cordy. Let's be fully honest with you. Go Cordy. If you're scared of chip hunters. Boom. And then Shakalaka. Anyways, moving on. And including the fact that Cordy decodes faster than that Wildling. She does. But moving on. Next on the list we'll have Acrobat. Acrobat will be part of niche as well, but I'm gonna put Acrobat above Perfumer and above Thief. Now, why am I going to do that? It's because the Acrobat has more items than Perfumer, and Acrobat can use the items to create the distance between himself and the hunter. Acrobat can use a snowball to, you know, be in between windows to like slow down the hunter's vault animation. Acrobat can use a mud ball in narrow areas to slow down the hunter's movement speed, and Acrobat can use Fireball to lock the hunter's skills. Acrobat as well has 3 balls early game, but can definitely get a 4 ball if he's first chased, another Fireball if he's first chased. He can also get an extra Mud Ball if he rescues, and if he decodes more than 50% Cypher, he can also get a Snowball. So if Acrobat isn't first chase, he'll have 5 balls if he's going to be second chase. If Acrobat is first chase, he'll have 4 balls, but he's still able to guarantee that 60-second containment, which is for sure. Let's be fully honest with ourselves. Acrobat is just, you know, 4 items, really good survivor, being able to create distance. Like soul containment is very good overall. Can't complain. Moving on, we'll have First Officer. First Officer will also be a part of niche. First Officer is like a sub-mercenary. Right, when First Officer uses a Poseidon Watch, he gains a 10% movement speed boost during the Poseidon Watch state. But the problem is he does get countered by Terror Shock though. Like if you're in Poseidon Watch state and then you touch the chair and then you get Terror Shock, that's just a Terror Shock forever for you. So yeah. But overall I still do think he's very good. It's including the fact that even if first officer gets a hit during the Poseidon stage, if he just uses the watch again, he'll still stay in Poseidon state, which is why like his adjustment is so good and he's such a great rescuer. After using one pocket watch, you gain a 7% decoding buff, if I'm not wrong, a total of 14% because you have 2 watches in total, but it's maxed out at 14%, of course, for, you know, proper reasons, because he's a rescuer as well. He's also a really good first container. If he's first chased, you're not going to be able to land a hit on him for the first 30 seconds because of, you know, Poseidon watch. Let's be fully honest with ourselves, you're not going to land it. It's going to be very hard for you to land it, and even if you do, he can still use a Poseidon watch. So yeah, unlike if he has an extra Poseidon watch while he's on chair, the moment he get rescued, he just Poseidon watch you away and like kite after tie time is over, and that kind of hurts for you as well. So yeah, first officer, fast decoder after using watch, guaranteed rescuer overall, but not better than Merc, and the 10% movement speed boost during the Poseidon watch stage. Very good rescuer overall. I would argue better than a footwork, but just doesn't have harass. But you know, they have their own caliber of things. Moving on, we'll have Barmaid. Barmaid will also be a part of niche. Now, why am I saying Barmaid is part of niche? Now, listen, regardless of whether you run flywheel or windows on Barmaid, any of them will work. It really just depends on you. After getting a hit early on into the game, you can use a Wildling to drink, and then if the hunter's about to catch up to you, you speed Wildling, and then there you go, boom, you're fully healed. And if you have flywheel, you can definitely flywheel the normal hit, and then boom, you're fully healed. Right? For Barmaid being able to have 2 Wildlings, let's be fully honest with ourselves. Like, if she's able to tank 3 hits, that's already very good overall. But if she's able to tank 4 hits, that's even better. That's like better than a Psychologist. For Barmaids overall, what you want to do is, after you get healed, you want to immediately get your second Wildling. But of course, I wouldn't risk that unless you do have like flywheel or even a speed Wildling extra ready to go. But for Barmaid overall, honestly, just very good solo container. Being able to heal as well without actually healing the survivor. Being able to give Wildling to the survivors, except for Mind's Eye, Cordy, Little Girl, and I think those are the only ones that are under the age of 21 that can't drink. So yeah, for Barmaid, really good strong containment, and you know, being able to cut down heal time as well is honestly great. Moving on, we'll be having Postman. Postman will also be a part of niche. And why I'm saying Postman is not a Hearthstone champion, because in area selection mode, in big maps overall, right, if you're a Postman and you spawn near the hunter, what you could do very early on in the game, instead of getting a decoding speed buff, you give yourself a movement speed buff, so then you can pull distance away from the hunter. If you did run flywheel, I'd say you probably would be able to stall enough time to get flywheel out to like at least flywheel 1 hit. If you don't have flywheel, use your movement speed buff, use your palette speed buff, use your window speed buff, and then you get your second letter ready, and that probably is going to give you an extra window speed buff. So you're basically pulling distance non-stop. But against fast chase hunters, I think that's a little bit restricted. But overall, in big maps, he's still very good. It really depends on what letters you want to give out. Dungeon letters work, you know, decoding letters work. Inspire letter, no, please don't do that unless you're in quick match. And then, you know, the movement speed buff overall. I think Postman is just good. I think he's just good. I genuinely think he's just good. I don't think he's bad. I just think he's good. Also with Wick as well. Even though Wick is counterable in like open areas, but like if you do manage to get the bite on the hunter, the slow does help you out quite a bit when it comes to transitioning as well. And Postman's cute. So yeah, Postman will be, well, I mean, he's cute, but that's not the reason he's on niche, but you know what I mean, he's just an extra thing to throw in. But yeah, that's why Postman is niche. Moving on, we'll have Gravekeeper. I think Gravekeeper can also be niche as well. It's just the fact that Gravekeeper gets countered by chip hunters overall, or fast chase hunters overall, in my personal opinion. Now, why you may ask? Well, for me, right, like if you're a Gravekeeper and you sidestep really well, there's a huge chance for you to be able to dodge the bombs from Bonbon, because like during Borrow State you move 10% faster as well. So you know, that's definitely possible there as well. But for Gravekeeper overall, because of the fact that he's able to, you know, like get in between himself and the chair very fast, and like if the hunter does hit the GK in Shield form, then that means GK is going to get a no damage rescue. So this simply implies that GK can now body block for survivors to contain a bit longer. But I simply don't think you need to body block, because like you kind of want to come in for a second rescue, so your own survivors who decode a little bit faster than you can definitely Cypher Rush to guarantee your tie or your win. But for GK, because of these reasons, he's still very good. You may argue that Barmaid counters him. I will argue that, you know, yeah, he does, but at least GK can definitely contain for 60 seconds. Well, maybe not 60 seconds, but you can sell him. He'll contain enough for you to sell him to guarantee the tie. Let's just put it out that way. Okay, moving on. I had a bit of a mini break. We have Prisoner. I'm gonna put Prisoner on niche. Now, reason why Prisoner could be niche instead of Hearts of Champion. I mean, like, he does have that effect in which his fury radius is reduced to 20 meters, but I think it's still very good for Prisoner, because like in area selection modes and all, you can just start putting distance regardless of what happens. For me, in general, Prisoner could probably be next to Mechanic. Now, why am I saying Prisoner is next to Mechanic? If you think about it, right, as a decoder, like decoders in general, they do have their debuffs, such that Mech has a vaulting debuff. You also have Explorer. What kind of debuff Explorer has? Explorer actually doesn't have any debuffs, but then like he doesn't have anything to help him contain. He doesn't have any items to do that. He can hide, of course, but he cannot contain. Similarly with Lawyer, he can hide, but he cannot contain, and very similarly to TME. So with everything like shown to you in this meta, it's really about containing. Now, harassing definitely does come in as well, but the harass has been nerfed down a little bit more just to suit the hunters a little bit more, which I think is honestly a great thing for hunter mains and for myself. But overall, Prisoner should still be a niche. He has a like his electrocution got nerfed from 60 seconds to 75 second cooldown. We can see how much electrocution actually helped Prisoner mains containing general, being able to get 2 electrocutions up at you know, one single containment, which is why now he's upped it to 75 seconds. But overall, Prisoner having, you know, no debuffs overall, being able to decode, like stay in one area and then decode your teammate Cypher. You can decode a forward Cypher so 4 can harass earlier. So any harassers in general, you force your Cypher open. Or even a Merc. Force the Merc Cypher open first, so that Merc doesn't have to go back to the Cypher and can immediately start a new one when he's going into rescue or something. But then overall, if Prisoner becomes first chase, he can also just connect the Cypher machines together, like 2 random Cypher machines that are started to get decoded together, and like, you know, the survivors can rush it. Whoever doesn't have Tide rushes it. Honestly, rushes the one that who has Tide on the team. Honestly though, for Prisoner, being able to decode Cypher machine like globally, I think it's very good. It just saves you so much time from running from one Cypher to another. That's my take there for Prisoner. He can kite, but his decoding as his honestly is very good. Honestly speaking, is very good. Even when you get rescued from chair and you get a hit during tie time, just link the ciphers and you most likely will be able to get a tie. Now, next one will be Entomologist. Entomologist, honestly, will be a part of niche here as well. A little bit different compared to Female Dancer and Forward. Entomologist has to move her beats around the map to assist the survivors from containing, in which I think actually does help out quite a bit, because with the bees you can at least play mind games with the hunter, especially hunters with short attack hitbox. You can bait them to use their normal attacking, which allows your survivors to move a little bit further away from the hunter, but also not allowing your bees to get hit. During hunter attack animation, you can also get rid of the bees before you know the hunter hits your bees, which depletes around 15% or 16% of your bees, right? I think being able to do that, and of course it is a little bit more of a reflex, like you need to be fast on a reflex when you see the hunter's attack animation to cancel the bees. But overall for me, Entomologist can be a very nice soft support, even against fast chase hunters in general. Very nice soft support. It'll force the hunter to basically use 2 basic attacks, right? In which your survivors should be able to pull towards the nearest pallet or window and then transition maybe for a little bit longer, or even just to get blink out. That also is fine as well for survivors in general. Entomologist herself also does have honey, in which if she vaults over something first, she'll gain 10% vaulting speed buff if she vaults over the same window / palette again. Entomologist solo containment is also very good. She basically guarantees a 60-second down, maybe not against a Bonbon. Like Bonbon versus Entomologist is just mind game after mind game. Whether Bonbon can land the bombs on you, or you can basically trick Bonbon into thinking, oh, I'm walking to this direction, but I'm actually not, so that he fills his bombs. So for Entomologists in general, really like nice harass, nice support, nice mini harass, can contain for sure, and doesn't really have any decoding debuff. She does have healing debuff though, but then at the end of the day, you can basically run her on anything. You can run her on Tide, you can run her on Windows, you can run her on Flywheel. She's basically she has a lot of leeway when it comes to persona points. But of course, next will be Painter. Painter, a little bit unfortunate. I think Painter will be a part of the fairy dust community, simply because there isn't a way to use him. There genuinely speaking isn't a way to use Painter. Now you may argue, hey, XYZ, if I'm able to get painting out, I can contain no problem. But Painter is very similar to Coordinator, but not so much. Painter needs to look at the hunter's face before he can use paintings, and he needs to have like a 5 to 6 second window to draw the paintings out. Meanwhile, Cordy just has a gun. She can tap the gun and then stun the hunter. That's it. Honestly, that's about it. For you as well, as a Painter main yourself, most Painter mains here know if you're not first chase, you're probably not going to get that painting unless you're going to go rescue. And even if you do go rescue and you want to get that face, Hunter probably isn't even going to allow you to do so unless like Hunter hits you first and forces you to rescue, and then you get the rescue, and then you get a bit of the face. But then again, if you do that, that's a little bit risky considering the fact that that's a high chance for a double down situation. So that's kind of a no-no there for Painter. Number 2, excitement. The moment that Hunter excitements one of your paintings, I think it's kind of over, because it's very similar to Enchantress. When you're on chair, when you get rescued by Tide, if you get hit during Tide time, you cannot get your paintings out. Very similar to Enchantress, you cannot stack curses when you get your Tide time, like when you get a red circle during that Tide time. So for Painter, I feel like he's going to be a part of the fairy dust community. It's a bit unfortunate, but he will be a part of the fairy dust community. Unless he's first chased against hunters that can't turn their back, can't moonwalk against a Painter. So we can talk about the likes of Leo, the likes of... Well, Leo is one of them. Smiley, nah, Smiley can just moonwalk. Gamekeeper can also moonwalk. So you have Leo, Ripper. I would say Lizard as well could count as one, but then he can jump. Who else can you have? Undead. Clerk can actually look back, but then like it's usually the non-meta hunters that can't moonwalk. And then the meta hunters, they can all moonwalk, like Geisha, BQ, Gala. Well, Gala's not meta, but you know what I mean. Bonbon, Clerk, Dreamwitch. I don't even think Painter works against the Dreamwitch, I won't lie. So yeah, Painter will be a part of the fairy dust community, which is a little bit unfortunate. Next will be Batter. I think Batter will be a part of Niche. I think Batter is kind of a really strong harasser now. I would argue that Batter could be stronger than Forward now, considering the fact that Batter can pick up balls. And Batter, like when a teammate has been attacked or injured, Batter gains a movement speed boost to catch up towards a teammate. Now, if you have seen my recent video as well about how solo queue is gonna get better, you kind of know like the only reason they implemented that is really just for the harassers in general. But for Batter, I think he's actually going to be niche. He's going to be very similar to a Forward, right? Batter's going to be similar to a Forward. I think Batter has like a 10% decoding debuff, doesn't he? I think he does. Or was it 20%? I'm not too sure. But then like with Forward being able to do like 3 to 4 stuns, like good stuns, or like 4 to 5 small stuns. If it's a Batter, I think Batter requires more, more skill than Forward. Maybe he does, maybe. Because like for Batter, if you know how to play him well, you can harass the hunter and pick up your balls again to reuse the ball like infinite times, and then like activate Rage to reset your cooldown on your bat and ball. But like Batter overall, like since most of the harasser has been nerfed, I think Batter could be the next potential strong harasser. Barra could also counter Mischievous as well because he is a, you know, long range harasser. But, you know, with all that in mind, since this is the newer season as well, and it's kind of very closely towards mid-season, it's really one of the reasons why I'm making it a little bit late, because I want to, how do I say, observe a little bit more. But I think Batter could honestly be really good now. So yeah, Batter's going to be on niche. Moving on, we have Weeping Clown. For Weeping Clown in general, I think Weeping Clown is a good solo containment overall. I genuinely think that he's very good. But to get Weeping Clown to play at its full potential, you need to play in a team, which is why I'm going to put Weeping Clown in a team comp dependence. Weeping Clown himself, he does have a very high containment ability. He can also do mini supports. Balloon rescue wise, I don't think he can do much when there's Mischievous, honestly speaking with you, because like even if you get the stun in, the survivor is probably doing a drop down balloon animation, so that's a little bit unfortunate for you, and it kind of is just a way to rocket. And then if you want to carry your survivor like from one area to another, you kind of need that communication there. So for Weeping Clown, very good containment, doesn't really have any decoding debuff if I'm not wrong, but really team comp dependent is what I think. If you want to play Weeping Clown, you kind of need to have very good communication between your team, just so you can pull the max potential out of Weeping Clown. But if you're gonna play him on solo tier, I would say like he's probably a niche. He definitely could be a niche, but I'm getting his full potential out. Team comp dependence is what I would say. You know what? Let's put him on niche. You know what? Let's put on niche because it's solo queue. Because it's a solo queue rank. Let's put him on niche. He basically 3 rockets can at least guarantee a 60-second kite, is what I would say. Even with fast chase hunters, I think it'll be a little bit hard for them to catch up to you. But anyways, moving on. We'll be having Little Girl next. Little Girl team comp. You really just team comp overall. Because like for Little Girl, when there's area selection mode, you most likely could teleport, but even if you do teleport, the hunter probably knows that where you're teleporting to. Because chances of you teleporting towards the rescuer is very high, and even if you get on the rescuer early game, not really that much worth it for you. For Little Girl overall, you kind of have to be reliant on teammates to like contain for at least 30 seconds, 50 seconds, right? Or even get blink out, so then like you can bind onto the survivors after they get rescued to support maybe for the rebound kite. But even if you do that type of a rebound kite, unless there's only 2 ciphers remaining and then you want to assist your survivor on doing a rebound kite, then you can definitely get a win. But then it only matters when there's 2 ciphers remaining and you can guarantee an at least 60-second rebound kite. That's what I'm gonna say. If you can at least guarantee that 60-second rebound kite, that Little Girl definitely could be good. But then she once again really team comp dependent on this caliber. For herself, I would say her containment is okay. It's not the worst, neither is it the best. She gets countered by Geisha. Well, she gets countered by BQ mainly. But then like Geisha, it kind of depends honestly on the Geisha. Bonbon, yes. Gala, kinda yes as well. But for Little Girl herself, I would say very team comp dependent. Very team comp dependent. Moving on, we have Novelist. Novelist will just be a part of Fairy Dust, very similar to Painter. After Novelist's nerf, actually no one has been using him anymore, especially with the fact that after Thief's buff as well, you can literally moonwalk against a Novelist. So for Novelist, even if you do want to body block your survivors, I don't think it's gonna happen. Because like you need to, like the moment that the hunter turns their face away from you and then moonwalks you and then catches up to the survivor and down them, it's going to be really hard for you to be able to assist or anything. You're kind of just wasting time and not decoding, getting the last few ciphers done. So for me, myself and I personally speaking, Novelist is off meta, really off meta. Before we talked about how Thief was bad, and then Novelist was genuinely speaking better than Thief, but this time really it's vice versa. Now Thief is great because of the buff, and Novelist is just sad, crying the corner with some fairy dust. But yeah, Novelist honestly speaking would be down there. Would be honestly speaking down there. Next will be Psychologist. Psychologist honestly speaking is niche, being able to tank 3 hits. I'd probably put Psychologist in front of Barmaid. Barmaid also can tank 3 hits, very closely to 4, but the problem for Barmaid is, for me, I guess it really is like against high chase hunters, there's a chance that they can time their blink well and then you ASAP. Meanwhile, for Psychologist, you can guarantee that 3, that 3 hit. And even if they hit you, like if you get 3 hits within 30 seconds, you still have stress, so you just get someone with no tie to rescue you and you'll be fine. Which is why hunters in general will wait for your stress to be over. But then, like, I know Psychologist doesn't really have anything to contain Wish, but because of the 3 hit, she's honestly good. With Psycho in general, some people bring Windows, some people bring Knee-Jerk Reflex, some people bring Tide. I genuinely speaking don't recommend Tide, right? Because like there has been people saying, oh, Psycho should bring Tide, she is such a great container. No, she's not. She can only tank 3 hits. She's a great container if she has Flywheel and if she has, let's say, teammates supporting her a little bit, or if she has Knee-Jerk Reflex. But if we're going to talk about a Psychologist with Tide, imagine going against a single hit hunter. You get 1 hit against a Geisha, you vault a pallet, no speed boost. What are you going to do? Nothing. Geisha just dash towards you and then hit you. Who else is there? There's Wu-chan as well, who basically Soul Siphon after 2 hits. Bell. Who else is there? There's Lizard, there's Gala, there's Bonbon. There's so many people. If you don't have... Psycho can only tank 3 hits, right? She has no containment ability at all. No containment ability at all. I would not run Psycho on Tide unless you know it's a Naiad, right? Because like at least for Naiad, you can safely transition away. You can at least safely transition away from the Harpoon, right? Because like when Naiad makes an Abyss, you basically need to get out of the Abyss ASAP and then tank it, hit and then rotate somewhere else. That's a guarantee like 30-second containment there, because Harpoon is 8-second cooldown and Naiad making a puddle is like at least 8 seconds as well, so that's 16 seconds. So per each Harpoon you get like 45-second free containments on a Psychologist, and then that's only if Psychologist doesn't actually manage to make it towards the next nearest pallet / window, right? That's when you bring Tide. You don't bring Tide as a Psychologist. You just don't. I know PB Shah has done it. No, not PB Shah. I know Kuta has done it, or PB Shah has done it. You're not them. This is rank, guys. This is rank. In high tier, you should not. In low tier, okay, fair. In high tier, no, you're dead. You are dead in low tier. No, you high tier, you are dead in high tier. In low tier, you know what, fair enough. Fair enough. In high tier, nope, you are dead. You're dead ASAP. You are genuinely speaking dead ASAP. So yeah, honestly, I don't recommend Psycho Tide. I don't recommend Psycho Tide at all. High tier. Low tier, yes, go for it. High tier, nah. Don't underestimate the hunters in high tier that much. Genuinely speaking, don't. It's not good for you. So yeah, there you go. That's that for Psychologist. You can also, like, Psycho is a good rescuer. I do understand. She's a great rescuer. But then she's not better than Merc. She honestly speaking isn't better than Merc. If she gets Terror Shock, she's still dead. At least for Merc. I mean, I do understand the double hit before you reach the chair, but then like there's other rescuers such as for Saucer for that. But you know what? That's not for Psychologist. She's niche. Next will be Patient. Patient will genuinely speaking just be niche alongside with Psychologist. Patient's solo containment is great, but he doesn't have any support. He doesn't really have any support, at least with Psycho. Psycho can Global Whistle to heal, but Patient doesn't have any support. He's a good rescuer overall because of his hook, right? Very similar to Merc, but I guess requires a little bit more skill than Merc, questionmarkable. But Patient, honestly speaking, is a good rescuer and also is a very good container. You can definitely run Tie on him if you wish to do so, because one of his hooks you can create such a huge distance away from the hunter. But overall, yeah, it's really up to you. Patient, you can definitely bring Tide, you can bring Windows or Knee-Jerk or Flywheel. But yeah. Patient overall can't really say much. Doesn't really have a decoding debuff unless he decodes with other female survivors. Yeah, that's about it, honestly. That's genuinely speaking about it for the Patient. Next up will be Toy Merchant. I will put Toy Merchant probably behind Prospector for this one. Toy Merchant can contain. She can bring Tide, Windows, or Flywheel. Really, for Toy Merchant, I guess it's just, you know, she's very applicable in 2-story areas. Very applicable. Very good in 2-story areas. And then applicable in, like, you know, flat maps, like Factory and Church. For me in general, because this new season is about, you know, fast chase type hunters, Toy Merchant probably won't benefit much if it's against a geisha, to be fair with you on that point. I think we can all agree. But everyone else, I think she has a fair amount of mind games that she can go against. You know, with BQ, you can mind game for sure. With the catapults, with like Woo Woo, you can mind game for sure. Especially when Toy Merchant moves faster than the hunter during catapult form. For Toy Merchant herself, I guess really she's very similar to Female Dancer, but she only has 2 catapults, and the catapults are most effective in 2-story areas only, such as Moonlish or Chinatown. But we can also, you know what, we can also just say the likes of Leos as well. But you know, Toy Merchant, honestly, solo containment is, I say, still very good. Support really depends on your teammates. Like if you place down your catapults in the right place, right time, and you know what you're doing, with Toy Merchant's buff before as well, like survivors should be able to see your catapult globally. They should, if I'm not wrong. It's seeable globally, and if your survivors doesn't use it, it's not your fault, it's their fault. So like as long as you place your catapults down correctly, you'll be fine. And then like for Toy Merchant's solo containment in general, what I would say is if you can get closely towards your catapult, you can definitely contain for long. Around 2-story areas, she can definitely contain for very long, but maybe flat maps would hurt her quite a bit. But yeah, I genuinely think she's still a part of niche just because of her catapult. She can definitely just keep one catapult on her and then, you know, fly away. Fly me to the moon. But overall, Toy Merchant is still very good. For solo rank, it really depends on your random they use your catapult or not. But if you're first chase, you just have to hope to God that you're not against the geisha. That's honestly all what I can say for that. But yeah, moving on. Okay, now then, next on the list will be Professor. Professor most likely would be niche. I would put Professor on niche instead of Hearthstone champion. I will not. That is a lie. Sorry. I will put Professor on team comp dependent. Sorry, that's a lie. Why is Professor team comp dependent, you may ask? Honest be to God, Professor is probably only good against like Nayid, Leo, and Nightwatch. Nightwatch, Nightmare, someone who doesn't have like chip damage or like skill damage. Because like Professor gets countered by Clown, gets countered by I would even say gets countered by Woo as well when you have your Wavering Soul, the Bell form, the Bell ability. Because like during the calibration mode you can't use items, and if a Woo times that correctly, and of course they would, you most likely won't be able to get your shell out, right? And like for Professor overall, like let's just name his counters. He gets countered by Gala Bonbon. I would say Gamekeeper, Phase, Presence 1, Joker, Soul Weaver, Presence 1 because of the Spish, also Lizard, Presence 1 because you don't necessarily need to chase Professor first. Did I say Galabamon? I think I did. What else? Let me just look down at the hunters. Who else is there? Paloon definitely gets countered. Paloon definitely counters him. Disciple also definitely counters him. Bloody Queen definitely counters. Voilindus definitely counters. Feaster definitely counters. Axeboy definitely counters. Dreamwitch, dependable. But still, I think definitely counters because of the stun. The only few that he could counter, let's say, is Nayid when he's first containment, in my opinion. Hellember, which depends honestly on the Hellember. Ripper, I don't think he counters Ripper actually. I think Ripper counters him because of Fire Blade. Geisha for sure, Woo dependable, Photographer for sure, Mad Eyes, honestly, that's all what I can say. Clerk, I would say he definitely counters Clerk, but then like there's also Hermit and Night Watching, which I can think there's a lot of mind games that kind of happen, but he can somehow counter Night Watch, let's say, somehow. So like, nah, honestly speaking, nah, he has way too many counters in my opinion, and he's not good enough for Hearthstone champion. Because like, you could say he can run Flywheel, which acts as another scale, but overall for Professor, unless you're very good at Flywheel, which the majority of us EU/Asia doesn't really have green pin. Well, most of us EU doesn't have green pin. I don't know about Asia, I can't speak for them. You can leave your comment down below to tell me. But for Professor overall, I think Team Comp Dependence or Heartstock Champion or Heartstock Champion or Heartstock Champion. Because like during air selection mode, if the hunter is someone that wants to chase you, you'll definitely get chased first. Even if you can negate that 1 chip damage, there's going to be more chip damage coming your way. And of course excitement counter is Professor as well. So you can't really, like you hit the skill excitement and hit again, you're kind of dead. So yeah, there goes that for Professor. But I will probably put Professor behind Coordinator. Probably will put Professor behind Coordinator. So yeah. Next up will be Antiquarian. Antiquarian is just gonna be forever annoying. I think Antiquarian really will just be forever annoying. I don't think I can explain much. Like Antiquarian did receive like the slow nerf, in which when you push the hunter back, you don't get slowed as long. I think they reduced it from like 1.5 seconds to 1 second, which does kind of help a bit because when you're pushed back, it's a 1 second animation. So you know you don't, technically speaking, don't get slowed. But like for Antiquarian, you know, this arm is annoying. Her harass is also really annoying. Her harass is only 1 second each, but if she times the 1 second each properly, that basically is equivalent to a 5 second stun. And survivors can definitely put a long distance away if that was a 5 second stun. But yeah, I like Antiquarian can act as an escort, a bodyguard, anything overall in general. You can use her very well in solo rank as well. Because like all you need to do is to get close to the hunter and smack him. Compared to forward and batter, requires a bit more skill. But for Antiquarian, just smack him. I guess Antiquarian overall, she relies on the player's sidestepping skills, movement skills, you know, and looking back skills, and timing flywheel skills. But speaking about flywheel, she can also do balloon harass, which is very annoying. So we know where this is coming from, don't we? She's just going to be forever annoying in my opinion. Mischievous can't even counter Antiquarian because she can stun 3 times. And if you time it correctly, you can definitely get a survivor to rotate towards the nearest pallet / window. Right, even with Mischievous on, I think it's definitely speaking possible. We have seen that it's possible as well. So yeah, that's Antiquarian. Disarm is disarm. I'm not going to talk much about disarm. First disarm is 5 seconds, then it goes to 12, then it goes to like 15, 16, 17 seconds if I'm not wrong. Scary ass stuff. Let's not talk about Antiquarian anymore. But she does she get countered by bomb? Not really, because like if you dodge the bombs properly with spin, like with spin she can counter Hermit, she can counter Wax Artist, the stunners in general, the stunner hunters in general. And then for bomb one overall, you just need to move a little bit more abnormally so that he can't chain his bombs, and then you smack him for a disarm. And then like, if you don't want to take a chip damage, just sweep the bombs away and then take a normal hit and then run with spin. Honestly speaking, forever annoying. So yeah, she's gonna be a part of that. She's really gonna be a part of that. Next will be Composer. I'm gonna put Composer on niche as well. Now, Suku Shanka Studio, if you guys know him, great channel overall, but he has made like a comparison between Lawyer and Composer who decodes faster, and apparently it's Lawyer that decodes faster. Listen, I don't disagree with that, right? Like if you think Lawyer's better, then Lawyer's better, that's your opinion. But for me overall, it's very similar to Prisoner's rebuttal. It's kind of saying most decoders don't actually have any containment ability, and then you have a Novelist who has a containment ability which she can use basically something that's very similar to a Windows speed boost, but like without condition. So for Composer, you can run Flywheel on him, and then he still has his movement speed boost, or you can run triple speed boost, which is basically the knee-jerk reflex, which is your palette and your window speed boost, and then you can have your tuning, which is also your second speed boost. For me, on a personal level scale, he may not be able to see hunters, but in area selection mode it doesn't really matter because you know where the hunters spawn, so all you have to do is to rotate out ASAP. Now ASAP go. Honestly speaking, now ASAP go. For Lawyer, I just feel kind of dependable, like really kind of dependable. Like, is it a really fast chase hunter? Does the hunter have like hunter's instincts? Am I gonna be able to hide well? Composer, at least he can contain. I'll be fairly honest, at least he can contain. And then when the hunter's within his sphere radius, he gets a highlight of where the hunter is, in which I think it's not too bad, so you can prep beforehand. Even with Lawyer, yes, he is able to do that, but then once again, I mean, you could say Laurie doesn't get terror shock, he's a good rescuer, but then once again, what are the chances of him being rescuer? Kind of low. And like, what are the chances of him failing rescue? Not low as well, because you have the likes of Geisha and Piku who can basically move out away from chair and then hit you and then use your ability to come back to chair. So even without that terror shock ability, I don't think it's worth it. I think Composer's honestly speaking niche. But of course, if you have any other opinion, feel free to say it. That's what the comment section is for. Next up will be Journalist. I'm gonna put Journalist all the way up. I simply think, I think Journalist could be a part of Forever Annoying. I genuinely think she could be a part of Forever Annoying, right? But for now, I'm gonna put Journalist on niche. Most likely gonna put her behind First Officer. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna put Journalist behind First Officer. Now, for those of you who are wondering, hey, is Journalist actually good? Honestly, yes. For those of you who are in my members channel, I have recently just posted our new Asia commentary. I showcased one S badge Journalist, in which she climbed from B badge to S badge in 1 week. Now, we all know how Asia Gan are. They are scary. They basically 11k already, 12k, 13k already on the leaderboards. But like, being able to climb from B badge to S badge in 1 week as Journalist in Asia is really good. Journalist herself having three little Orphees to hide behind pallets. You can basically use, let's be fully honest, little Orphee is basically a better body blocker than a normal survivor. We have to agree on that. And when little Orphee is out, this girl gets an 8% movement speed buff. And then when little Orphee gets hit, she gains a 50% movement speed buff for 1 second. It may not seem like a lot, but it is pretty much a lot. Being able to utilize that 3 times, I feel like even if she's first chase, she's definitely able to contain. Against single hit hunters, yeah, she's gonna contain. Against chip hunters, in area selection mode, it depends on the Journalist if she rotates away early or not. That's what I'm gonna say. That's honestly speaking what I'm gonna say. Maybe against chip hunters it's a little bit harder, right? Especially when like Journalist is very similar to a coordinator, in which some Journalists bring flywheel, some don't. But she is definitely a very good solid rescuer. Journalist is a solid rescuer. She can use little Orphee to rescue, even though she has 1 chair camera, which I think is fair. Or there's no or. Or she can, well, I mean, yeah, there's an or she can use her main body to rescue. But of course, as we do know as well, the Tide can only proc once, whether it's little Orphee or the Journalist herself going towards the rescue. But at least let's be honest with ourselves for endgame. If you want to guarantee that tie, or if you want to get a 3-man escape, if the hunter genuinely speaking chairs near the gate, you kinda can get a free rescue there when you have tied. But like overall for Journalist, it's not me showing any favoritism to her. Current day meta really is about single hit hunters now, and with Journalist here and all, you could argue little Orphee puts down pallet, like Hunter can just bait that out easily. Yeah, that's the point. Which is why NetEase also implemented destroying pallets placed down by little Orphee takes 30% longer. So that's a trade-off there. That's honestly a trade-off there. If little Orphee lands that pallet stun, they recover 20% faster. But, you know, they still have to break the pallets 30% longer. So for Journalist, for myself, Guarantee Rescuer is what I think. Against Bonbon, I think it depends. But overall, Journalist is genuinely speaking very, 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 very good. Very good overall. And yeah, I think that will be the end of Season 25 Survivor Tier List. I think that will be Season 26 Survivor Tier List. Sorry. This will be the end of Season 26 Survivor Tier List. I kind of had to wait a little bit longer so I can observe the characters in general. But as of now, I think it's not too bad. Most of you will probably argue about Enchantress and Postman. Listen. I'll just give you that right? But of course, you guys have your own opinions. Please feel free to put it down. You can rebuttal me. You can state your own statements for everyone to see. It's everyone free choice of opinion. I don't mind. I'm willing to see. And usually I base this off of, you know, the comment section sometimes as well. Because you know what? You guys are right. Sometimes I am right. Sometimes we're not right all the time. So yeah, that's going to be the end of Season 26 Survivor Tierlist. I'll see you all during the Hunter one. Did I miss anyone? No, I didn't. Bye bye for now.